Well, I don't know whether I'm starting in the middle in some or starting in the beginning of others, but we'll go back. Brad Bethune, talking to strangers. For those of you who are just joining, I'm going to give you a quick recap. Housekeeping. I'm putting into the chat the actual link. Feel free to join if you want to, and let's have a discussion on a particular problem that you're having. Also, I'm putting in there my YouTube link so that you can watch there as well. What we just noticed was that on LinkedIn doesn't support StreamYard, which is a tool that I'm using. So I'm actually, if you're watching on LinkedIn and you want to comment or you want to say anything, feel free to go over to the YouTube site. If not, continue to watch. It's perfectly fine. But understand this is being recorded and that all the questions that are being shown, and they'll be updated for later. So purpose of the conversation was really to just have a pure conversation about cold calling and how passionate I feel and how I feel it's the #1 way to truly generate business. I was meeting with a person today doing networking 101, and during the conversation, I actually said, I believe that cold calling is the most effective way to generate opportunities and to create opportunities. And we had a lively discussion about whether it was networking or cold calling. And I believe that networking has a great purpose. I believe that networking is a great use of time. But I believe, unfortunately, that we are all networking to network, and we're not actually gaining any value out of finding true opportunities. And the #1 way is to have a conversation. Have a conversation over the phone. Cold calling gets a bad rep, but 82% of buyers say they've accepted meetings with the salesperson after a series of contacts. It's just a fact, unfortunately. My belief is to be human, to be yourself. Don't follow a script. Don't worry about perfection. It's the perfect approach. It's the perfect guide. It's telling stories. It's letting people know that there's not just their pain out there, and you have a solution for that pain. It's just trying to effectively communicate with people and just be yourself. Just be yourself. We'll go back to researches. Well, let's go back one step. People do say, well, scripts help. Yes, they help. I do have a outline that I follow. It's not necessarily a script. It's more of a guide of where the conversation may go. That gives me the ability to, if I get stuck or if I get someplace that I'm not 100% sure to go, it gives me kind of a next step roadmap or something to look at, so that I'm not standing there trying to figure out where to take the conversation next. So I do actually use a guideline, but I certainly don't use a script. And it's not about being robotic in script. It's being human. It's being yourself. It's actually having that one-on-one conversation. It's having the investigation to find the pain behind the pain. And I said this before, and I'm going to say this again, and it's because I'm a true believer of it. It's not the business pain, and it's not the individual employee business pain. It is what is affecting a person to be able to get home and do X, whatever that is, watching football, playing with the kids, playing pickleball, whatever. And knowing that when they go to bed at night and they get up in the morning, they just want to know that they have a job for the next day and do the best that they can. So what's affecting the company that affects them as employees, so that they can get home and do what they really want to do and go to bed and be able to get up and know that they've got a job. It is that third level pain behind the pain that you have to find. And you may have to find it between several people in several departments and several different areas, which means research. You know, who do I call in the company? Man, I call everybody. Sales reps, accounting, marketing, executives, janitors. It doesn't matter, because pain affects everybody across the entire company. Now, it may affect some people 1%, it may affect people 10%, it may affect them 100%, but there's some effect as a trickle down of being able of something that's happened within the company, within the culture. So why not find out how that's affecting, so that when you get into that conversation, you have more knowledge about what's going on, about their culture, about who they are, about some of the problems, about some of the situations that are going on. I call everybody. I call it mapping the pain. What effect does the pain have? Where do you start? If I can't get through to the gatekeeper to get somebody in the mid tier, I'll call a sales rep, man. I will definitely call a sales rep, and I will connect with them. And how can I help you with your job and what you're doing? And can you answer some questions? How are you solving for, or what problem, or are you having a problem with? And who's the best person to talk to? So it's helping people with people. The best person to start with is a sales rep. Most of the people watching this are either executives or sales reps. Go call another sales rep and have just straight line conversation. That's what I say. They're great soft door openers. So what's my first move on the phone? It's usually I teach friendly, present, be cognizant, be there, be that person that's there to listen and to also have empathy. Script doesn't matter. I usually start with some sort of pattern interrupt. And what's a pattern interrupt? Well, it's something that they're not expecting. Usually it goes, hey, Mike, this is Brad. How are you doing? Brad, I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Well, the expected answer is, I'm doing fine too, and then move on to your next statement. I find that a pattern interrupt is a fantastic way of breaking that and making somebody think. My favorite one is, I'm better than I deserve. It's a spiritual one. It's Dave Ramsey. Those who actually know, if they are a Dave Ramsey fan, it gives you a great connection. If not, you'll usually be able to say, oh, you deserve much better than that. I retort back with, I'm just a lowly sinner unworthy of God's grace. And then we go on and say, appreciate that. Then start the conversation. Reason why I'm calling is, that's my first move on the phone. It's laying down. It's being human. I cannot stress that enough. It's being human. Do you leave voicemails? Heck yeah, I'll leave a voicemail. I leave my name, and I spell my last name because the last name is easy to miss. It's also easy to mispronounce. It's also the most easily misspelled. So I'd say, this is Brad Bethune, Bethun as Nancy E. Phone number is, give them my phone number. Purpose of my call was hoping to have a conversation about that. If you're interested, if not, completely understand. Then phone number again, and my name, and spell my last name. The same pattern over and over and over and over and over. They say that somebody has to hear things 3 times before they remember it. Well, I've already said it twice. When I call back to make another phone call and don't reach them again, and I leave another voicemail, then there's 4 times. So you're 4 times likely to be remembered if you continue to leave a voicemail and be honest and be real. People want to have conversations with people, not robots. So yes, I do leave voicemails, and yes, I actually do get callbacks. Most people will say, well, you don't get a callback on that. Yeah, would disagree. And Brian, this is because of you. A long time ago, I had a belief that phone. It doesn't matter to leave a phone. It doesn't matter to leave a voicemail. And Brian, you know who you are, had a very spirited, amazing conversation that shed light on my eyes. And since that conversation to now, and it was probably been, oh good Lord, I'd say around 10 years, I've changed and I've actually gone to, Julia, how many times do I leave a voicemail for the same person? 3 times. 3 times. So I will call 3 times, and then I will give it a break, and then I will call 3 times again, and then I will give it a break, and then I will call 3 times again, and then I will give it a break. And after that 3, so you've got 3 times 3, you made 9 reach outs, you've left 9 voicemails. Then I go to somebody else, because it means that I'm not communicating effectively to that particular person. And show you, I appreciate that question. 9 times, 3, 3, 3, and I'll either put them in a cycle and let them wait for 6 months. In 6 months, I'll try the same system again, 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. So, again, I don't believe I'm effectively communicating enough on the voicemails, and I will change the voicemail up. The reason why I'm calling is, I never say I'm following up with, because what are you following up with? Your last voicemail? Well, okay, everybody leaves a voicemail, but what's the reason behind the voicemail? I become very human, and I will sometimes within the voicemail, if it's like past the 6th time, I will start sharing information. We have talked with XYZ. We found that they've had this problem. I really want to have a conversation with you about why they fixed it, or if you fixed it differently, or how you fixed it, or how you're even having problems with it. So yeah, I do leave a lot of voicemails to be able to bring across that whatever point that I'm trying to get. So I'm going to put this in again in case anybody wanted to actually join. So you can copy that link and it will pop you up in, and I will bring you on, and we can talk live. I actually had this come across. I'm not going to give a lot of information here. I'm currently only part-time. While I have the business development title, I'm more of a support role and market sell the business when there's leftover time, which can be slim because of my bandwidth. It just isn't there. I've also realized it's very difficult to sell part-time because follow-ups aren't everything, or because follow-ups are everything. I don't have the ability to take in calls and emails on a regular basis. I have 3 kiddos, 5 and under, shrieks on a call, and aren't promising to hear for prospective clients. There's a lot to unpack here, but the reason why I'm showing this is this limited time. Well, you can go very, very targeted into a particular company and just call 1 or 2 people. They say cold calling has to be this shotgun effect. Well, I don't believe it has to be a shotgun effect. I believe that you can go laser targeted rifle effect and target a particular company and target a particular customer or person and just say, okay, I want to focus on this one person, and we'll see how this goes, positive or negative, and we'll just try this, and just continue continue 3 times 3 times 3. Or if you wanted to mix up LinkedIn messages or emails or anything, I'm actually working on physical mail send outs and trying to reincorporate those into to try to change things up. So it is cold calling, but there's also different ways to outreach and to help with limited. And I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be too ashamed to call before the kiddos got up or after the kiddos went to bed. Sometimes calling at that odd hours, you'll catch somebody actually in the office, and you never know. I've caught somebody at like 7 p.m. Because I used to call for the entire spread of the U.S. and I'd call in California for California, and I'd jump back into New York once, and I've caught a couple people on the phone. So switch up the times, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to actually just take it and do it. And I was having another conversation. Some people kind of expect a little chaos in the background. Not a lot, but a couple of shrieks or something like that. People understand. People understand we're working from home, and that's also being human. It's part of your life. So here I just say, take a leap of faith, make a couple of calls, actually target in on a particular company, zero in on a particular person, and just try to have a conversation with them, and don't try to go too far and wide. I think you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself when you just need to relax and just take one or two baby steps. So I like that one. That was a good one. And please keep the comments, questions, everything coming. And this isn't going to be the only time we're doing this. I've had a lot of people throughout the conversations and inviting people and talking with people, and they would really like to have more of this open session, open conversation, ability to talk about it. And I'm going to continue to do it because I believe this is one of the great, big, huge fears of developing sales. And it just doesn't need to be a huge fear. So let's go back to questions. What if they say not interested? Man, I've had conversations and conversations and conversations around this. I believe that not interested, it just means that I haven't effectively communicated. I haven't told my story well, or I haven't listened well. I believe it's something on my behalf that I haven't expressed or that I haven't done. It's either I haven't communicated effectively, I haven't listened effectively, I've told the wrong story, I've told an ineffective story, I haven't asked the right questions, I don't have the right enough information because I didn't do the right research, I didn't phone the right person to get more information, I didn't leave more emails so that they could have a warm up of my voice. And then I also believe that not interested is a deflection. Somebody could be having a bad day. Boss could have just yelled at them. Husband, wife, partner could have yelled at them. They could have just spilled coffee on themselves. They're in a rush for doing a report right now. There's a ton of things that could actually be causing them to say, no, I'm not interested. To me, that's part of the sentence of, no, I'm not interested right now. And it also goes to say, what are you not interested in? Are you not interested in sports? Are you not interested in the weather? Are you not interested in politics? They just say they're not interested. You don't know what they're interested in. So I kind of just roll over it and say, well, how are you handling X now? How are you handling this solution now? We talk to people that solve this every single day, and we've helped people solve this. I want to have a conversation with you about how you solve this problem. One of the things I'm sure Julie is waiting for is an example on nonprofits. How are you making your company known in the community for great works? How are you doing that? Let's have a conversation about how other people are doing that, how other people are doing that, and share ideas. Just try to tell stories. So I believe that non-interested just means not interested right now, and you've got to have a better conversation to be able to say, oh, okay, why are they just not interested? And yes, I do have notes below me because, again, like a cold call, I want to make sure that I get at least decent points across. So I'm going to take a quick sip break here, and hopefully somebody will put in another question. I'll also, Phil's there. You feel welcome to join. I appreciate that. So, why stories? I believe stories are a great way to tell about how something has helped somebody, and it's also a great way for somebody to remember it. You remember stories all the way back from what, high school, middle school, some of us elementary school. I mean, you remember stories. You remember stories and how they affect people and how you've helped people. So I believe storytelling, which is one of the oldest forms of communication, is a great way to actually build upon getting your message across. And it's also a great way for people to ask questions about what happened in the story. So I believe stories are just a great, effective way to communicate. I've had a long conversation on giving up on a lead. I don't believe that you give up on a lead unless they tell you to go fly a kite, and then I try to tell somebody else in the company about that particular kite. I don't call somebody unless I know that I've helped either somebody in that industry, or I have a problem to solve, or I know that I can effectively help them if it's the right situation. But I don't know if it's the right situation until I have a conversation. Even if we're not interested or an absolute no, it just means not right now. So that goes into a nurture campaign, and that goes into sending out emails. And I've actually, sent cards, sent emails, kept in contact with people over a couple of years. And eventually it's popped up to where, because of my communication, because of me learning about them becoming part of my work family, that eventually the need will fit. Excuse me. So I don't really 100% believe on giving up on a lead unless multiple people tell you to fly a kite. There is this, well, you might get a cease and desist order. You can tell through the conversations if you're really starting to be irritating. Don't be irritating. Don't be annoying. I don't want to be that guy. And I will tell people, I just don't want to be that guy. Tell me to go fly a kite, or tell me it's not right now, or tell me it's not a fit. And, can I call later, and can I just keep up and be human? And I've had a lot of people say, yeah, you can call. Yeah, no problem. I just had a conversation, or we just helped somebody solve a problem. The first call, the guy was absolutely furious that I called and was mad at me and told me to go places where you don't go to. And labeled me things that, weren't even. And I just, okay, I apologize. You had a bad day. Do you mind if I call later and, just say hi? He said, yeah, whatever. So I waited 6 months, and I called him and I said, hey, this is Brad. We had a conversation previously. I caught you at a bad time. How you doing? Is your day any better? And I went personal. I did not talk about business. I asked about him. I was human. Spent about 5 minutes of his time because I didn't want to spend too long, and then hung up. Called again the third time. The third time that I called, hey, how are you doing? Talked to you last time. How is A? How is B? Well, they're doing pretty good. You know what? You've been consistent, and you've had the right attitude and you had the right heart. I have a problem with X and Y. Can you solve that? Yes, I can. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with that. And over the course of time, we actually were able to help him. And we're doing this part of the solution starting right now. So it's just, don't give up. Just understand, either you're not communicating effectively, the story's not resonating, or you don't have enough information to make a great decision on when it's going to be done. Unless unless you get a pink slip with restraining order or something like that, then to stop. So What makes a lead hot? Now, this is a great, I got this question from somebody who has just sent me a LinkedIn message. What makes a lead hot? Well, I believe that eventually what will happen when you tell enough stories is you will see a pattern of a particular story going down the line. And when you are able to see that line and very clearly bring your message across, anybody from that industry, anybody in that software, anybody in that anybody, give me just a second, Julie, I'll answer you. Anybody in that area, you have a compelling story to tell. That's what makes it hot. If you know that your story can fit and to help, that's a hot lead. I will do Google alerts. I will do industry. Actually, we can actually do it. That'll be one of the next topics. Is we'll do some research, and I'll show you some of the things that I'm doing to create research, especially in the cybersecurity world. And then we'll talk about how you can spread that out and how you can do that for different industries. Give me 2 seconds. I want to make sure I did it, write that down. SEARCH for the next time. So but what makes a lead hot is actually having that story that's consistent, and does the prospect fit that story? If that's true, then that's hot. Julia asked, sorry for saying the name wrong. How do you keep up with your notes on the calls that you make so you can remember personal details? There's 2 ways I do this. Number one, immediately after the call, I will log my notes, and I will log important parts. And as you can see, I got a piece of paper here. I'll have a piece of paper with me at all times to write down a technique that's called selling with curiosity. It's a way to take a point, draw a line to it with a bubble, and to keep drilling down on that particular thing. Sometimes, I don't do this all the time, I don't do this often, but I will also record calls, and if there is a important fact on it, I will take it, I will have it translated, and I will take the translation and copy paste into a CRM. I'm a big believer of CRMs. I will take all the notes and I will put them into a CRM, and I will log an activity and actually set a timeout. And on the next timeout, the next activity, any questions that I want to ask, any tidbits that I want to find out, anything that reminded me, the call where the guy cursed me out to begin with, I made myself a note on call 2 and call 3. Hey, be careful. This guy will cuss you out if you if you come across wrong. So I knew going in, be careful. Birthdays, company, anything that's happened with the company, anything like that, I put in the next activity, and I will even reference, if the conversation was important enough, I will put, go back and read previous activity. Remember this part. Question, answer. I get extremely detailed when I'm on a hard target, or when I'm on an actual, when I've had conversations, because I don't want to forget. I've actually done that once or twice, and I've had to be human and eat crow and just apologize and say, you're right, you did say that. I forgot about that. Please forgive me. And I'm a firm believer that if you show your heart, and you actually show your character, and you show that you have full intentions of just helping, that people will forgive mistakes, that they will forgive because they understand that that's just what you're trying to do. I wasn't going to put this question in originally, but I thought it had some value. And how do you coach or how do you help? Don't be afraid if you're recording to go back and listen to the conversations and analyze what you could have done better and what you could have done differently. As I've gotten older, I'm believing more in this. People don't like listening to themselves, and people don't like people judging them, and people don't like not knowing that people are on the other side recording. But if you're using it as a tool to get better, I think it's okay. And like right now, if it wasn't recording, I'd probably record what I was saying. And then what's interesting is when I play that back for a coaching session, in my head, I'll remember the entire conversation. And I'll go, oh, man, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said it this way. So I go back over the recordings that I've had previously. I do my 6 steps on cold calling. I've got a bunch of steps that I go through that I teach. Who are you? What are you doing? Who are you calling? Why are you calling? There's several steps that I go through to make sure that my story is actually not only compelling, but relevant. And I continue to refine the story. I continue to research. I continue to try to stay up on the latest. I've got case studies, and I'll actually show this on our next call, doing research on how class action lawsuits are affecting cybersecurity and cyber insurance for small businesses in the state of Texas. It's a very narrow. Gist of it is the average cybersecurity class action lawsuit right now is $2.5 million. Yes, you know that, but A, can you prove it? B, how do you tell that story? And C, is it relevant? I've actually had conversations with friends and networking people that I know, which is a great reason to network as well, and ask them, hey, does this information sound right? Is this information correct? I've got a buddy of mine, a very, very close friend of mine, who's a who is a CIO of one of the largest health networks in the state of Texas. I've known him for 20 years, and I don't have any problem whatsoever picking up the phone and asking him, hey, if I say this on the phone conversation, cold calling, what would you say? Normally he'd start off with go fly a kite, but after us laughing, then he would actually give me the ability to learn what he would say. So having that person to be able to bounce stuff off of is truly, truly important. But the number one thing that I believe, and I apologize for the slide, it's being human. It's not trying to be a robot. Don't try to be perfect. Learn something on every single call that you make. Just learn something about the company. If you do that every single time, you will become more and more and more successful, and you will become more and more comfortable with telling your story. And you will become more and more comfortable with just having conversations on the phone. And that's what I believe it is. It is just having conversations and meeting somebody new on the phone. So that's it. I believe, let's see, I actually got this down. It's about conversation, not dials. And the rep who masters the art of being human, I put wins, but actually does the right thing by people. So I know I went over. I know I didn't go live when I was supposed to on some. I know it was a little worky. We're going to get better. It's 34 minutes, and I'm going to hold for another 5 minutes. I'm going to start holding myself to a timer of 30 minutes. I invite you to send me an email, call me, let me know what topics you'd like me to go over, and I'll go over them. We'll have another discussion, and we'll have thoughts, and we'll really just try to develop this together and help each other out. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate you spending your time with me. It means a lot. It means a lot that you spent some time listening to me babble. Hopefully next time you'll join. I appreciate you, Julia, for your questions. Thank you so much. It was nice to talk to you even through chat. But I'm going to let y'all go back to work. I'm got to do a couple of administrative tasks, and then I'm actually going to do some cold calling myself. So y'all have a fantastic day. Thank y'all for being absolutely incredible, and just have a great day. Bye.